Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With all your hearts. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Can everyone sing again a little louder, please? With all your heart. Two more times, all together. One more time with all your heart. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna. Up next we will have But Hari Prabhu, he'll be leading us into Kirtan. So please stick around. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much for coming in the morning, chanting with us. I wonder, could we get everybody to move up a little bit? Is that too much of an inconvenience? As we've heard repeatedly, this kirtan is not a performance. It's about all of us singing together. It's our joined voices. And I really like to hear your singing. It helps me out a lot. So, yeah, thank you. I was thinking in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's basic instruction on meditation is to bring the mind back. This is true for any kind of meditation on fixing the mind. And it's certainly applicable to the mantra meditation that we're doing. And yeah, he says, yato nischalati manaschanchalamascharam. The mind is flickering, restless. Actually, at the end of that instruction, Arjuna says, not possible for me. He says, it's easier to control the wind than to control the mind. That was his conclusion. But Krishna said, it's true, it's difficult, but it's possible. So, yeah, the mind will wander, and our practice is that when we notice it, sometimes it takes a while to notice that our mind is somewhere else. But when we actually notice it, then we can bring it gently back, just bring it calmly, peacefully back to just hearing this mantra and chanting. So as an object of meditation, especially this Maha Mantra is recommended for this age that we live in, this age of quarrel. There's many stories about that and how that came to be. But this Maha Mantra especially is, you could say, the mantra for Kali Yuga. It doesn't require any previous qualification. You don't have to take initiation, diksha, or perform austerities or anything like that. Anyone from beginning can chant this mantra. And if we just practice just hearing it, letting the sound come in to our hearts, it's actually mystical sound. This is called Shabda Brahman, spiritual sound. So if we just allow the sound to come into our hearts and then come from our heart back out of our mouth, this combination is extremely powerful. And the mantra itself has its own potency. So it's not just like mechanically trying to fix your mind on something, on a candle or something like that. But the mantra itself has its own power, immense power actually. And if we allow it to come in, we can glimpse the power of this mantra and how it has the potency to awaken the soul. We're spiritual beings. We're not these lumps of flesh and blood. We're actually the consciousness within. But in conditioned consciousness means that we're just absorbed in our body and our mind. But awakening means becoming actually aware of that person who is conscious, and that our real self, in other words, that's called self-realization. And along with that self-realization is also God realization, that we understand our source. So this chanting of Hare Krishna has this capacity to touch the soul, to awaken the soul. And it's special. It's really special. It's like some of you are here in the evenings, right? And things happen, magical things happen. People start dancing, and it's not really explicable. You know, it's not due to intoxication or drugs or something, but something wonderful awakens in the heart and the soul, and we feel like dancing. Some of us have been chanting this mantra for many years. I've been chanting Hare Krishna for 48 years now. I started when I was 1 year old. No, anyway. Somebody got it. So how is that possible? How is it even possible to sing the same words over and over again? It's just not physically possible. You just get disgusted, right? You would. You couldn't, could you say Coca-Cola for 2 hours a day for 48 years? Or it wouldn't be possible, right? No matter how brainwashed you were, right? You just couldn't do it. So yeah, anyway, it's our conviction that there's really something special about this mantra. And not only can we do it, we love doing it. We take our time out, we fly to India, to Rishikesh, to chant every day for 4 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, yeah. So, yeah, it's wonderful. And it's actually spiritual practice on the external is pretty boring, right? We're chanting the same thing over and over again. Not very exciting, right? So that means that we can do it because something's happening on the inside, right? There's something happening in the heart. There's a wonderful world, an exciting world of Krishna, Radha and Krishna, that's opening up in the heart, that's as a result of this chanting. So thank you for coming and blessing us with your association and sharing this with us and allowing us to share this with you and taking part and singing. Wow, Hare Krishna Prabhu. All the way from Germany, right? Bavarian forest, in the Shringadev's place. Amazing. So please sing. We'll, same words. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaudavani Pacharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschachade Shatarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Actually, let's say this mantra together. This is the Panchatattva mantra, and it said if we say this, it releases, or it opens up the power of any other mantra that we chant following it. It's a very special mantra. So let's say this together. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivas, Adi, Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai. Let's go down and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Hare Hare Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One last time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, thank you so much. Thank you for singing so beautifully. This is what kirtan leaders live for, is to hear this ocean of sweet voices, isn't it? Huh? Yeah. Well, another instance of beautiful voices. So we have, I'm sorry I went over a little bit because I thought you weren't here yet, so anyway. Hare Krishna. So we want to welcome Gauravani. He's going to do a workshop now, telling the story of Bilva Mangala Thakur. Yeah, okay, cool. So stay tuned. Thank you again. Hare Krishna.
You guys are too far away. Come closer even. 3 circles then. Closer, closer. First circle right here. Let's imagine there's a little fire here. Did someone bring the marshmallows? You know what marshmallows are? Can you sit here? You guys want to play for this song? We'll start with a song. Namaruchi, you want to play for this song? I'm going to do like a river and then we'll tell the story. Actually, we'll do a little bit of like the river and then we'll tell the story and then we'll do it again. Hari Hari. Thank you. This is how they pay us. And meals, that's true, and meals. Mm-hmm. Hari Hari. Okay, so let's start with the vibrating the sacred syllable Om together. I apologize for my voice. It's a little, my voice has gone on vacation. We've been chanting for many hours, for many days. So I'm actually just grateful that I have any voice at all. But this month has been a Nam Yagya, like a festival of a sacrifice on the holy name. And many of us have offered many things into this fire. Some of us have offered our voices. But all the devotees, all these musicians, you know, they're rehearsing and playing almost all day long. It really is incredible amount of service that's going on here for all of you. I want you all, like, how do I say this? We're just happy if you're happy, right? That if you leave after this time together, many of you we've seen for days and days. We've developed friendships. Some of you are maybe here for the first time, but I want you to realize how special this is, and I want you to take whatever you can with you. There's one story that there was a wandering fruit seller that came to the door of Mother Yashoda in Vrindavan, Krishna's home. And Krishna was a little baby. He could barely walk. But he saw that people would approach the vendor with something and give something, and then the vendor would give a fruit in return. So Krishna, he wanted to engage in this lila of purchasing fruit. So he took in his little hand a handful of grain from his mom's house, and he toddled over to the fruit center. By the time he got there, there was only like 3 or 4 grains because they had all fallen through his fingers. And he gave it to the fruit vendor, and she was so charmed that she took these few grains, and then she just started putting fruit, as much fruit as Krishna could carry in his little arms, just stacking him with bananas and, kinds of fruit. And Krishna's like just, trying to carry this fruit back. And when Krishna had taken that, she asked him, come again, and she gave him more fruit until she was just so charmed by Krishna, she just exhausted all of her fruit in the lila of giving Krishna, watching him walk back to the house with his fruit, just for a few grains, right? And then she was just in ecstasy of thinking about this, and she tied up her bundle and she went back to her little forest encampment where she lived. And she opened up her cloth, and it was filled with jewels and gems. Fortune, Lakshmi, personification, fortune personified. She just kind of wanders around wherever Krishna wanders. So it's not that this lady gave the fruit for money. She thought, oh, maybe God will bless me for money. She just gave it without any concern. And somehow or other, her bundle was filled with jewels. So I hope that we all feel that we're leaving this place, this month together from the banks of Sri Ganga Devi, and that the treasure that we're taking with us, we recognize is more precious than we can ever fathom. And this is the yajna. We've all given time, our voices. There's devotees here doing laundry for other devotees, cooking, cleaning. After we leave here, big party, this whole place is swept. And, late into the night, 12 o'clock at night, devotees are cleaning, watering plants, preparing. Every day, Shri Radha Govinda are dressed in a new dress meticulously. Maybe we never even noticed that there was an altar there. But everything has been done with the mood of service. So I hope that we leave this place with a heart full of gratitude and recognize what this yajna has given. As Indradumna Swami said, even this unseasonable rain that came is the fruit of yajna, of sacrifice. Just see, Krishna is showering me with riches, a hull's throat drop. Okay, so let's start by vibrating the sacred syllable Om. Three times. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. 3 times Om. Deep breath. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrin. If you know the words, sing along. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrin. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. One more time. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please say Govinda Damodara. Damodara. Madhaveti. Madhaveti. This is part of an epic poem, 70 stanza epic poem by a saint named Bilva Mangala. Today we get to tell his story, one of my favorite stories. Have you ever seen those pictures for teaching someone to dance? They look like little shoes on the floor with arrows and numbers. You ever seen those before? So sometimes someone will write a book on dancing, but how do you teach someone to dance from a book? So you have to put little pictures of shoe prints and little numbers and little arrows and wiggles to show you move your foot here and then move your foot here, right? This is how they do it. So these songs are like that. This is the ecstasy of a saint, captured in poetic form. We're dancing in his shoes when we sing these mantras. These are his footsteps, and he's inviting us to walk in his footsteps and taste even a drop of the ecstasy that he had. So we'll just sing this a few times together, and then I'll tell you the story. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. 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 Govinda. You know, there's different rasas, different moods in friendship and in love. One of my favorite moods is to see the fear in your eyes as I look around the fear mixed with joy. It's like, it's so fun. You know, the first two processes of bhakti, of devotion, are shravanam, listening, and kirtanam. It starts with listening. Sometimes in life, we feel that we're not being heard, but as St. Francis says, first try to hear before worrying about if you're being heard. So as we listen to each other, we can know that we're listening deeply. We're hearing each other. Who would like to sing next? Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara. Susan, I'll sing with you. How about that? Okay, here's the next part of the poetry. This comes from Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna says, "O Krishna, from the family of the Yadu dynasty, we are like family, you and I." This is a way of calling to the Lord. Like, we're family. I'm yours, right? And then he says, "Hey Krishna," you can repeat that. Hey Krishna. Hey Yadava. Hey Yadava. Then he says, "Hey Saketi." And the word Sakha in Sanskrit, it means BFF. You guys know what a BFF is? Does anyone in the room not know what a BFF is? Best friends forever. BFF. Sakha means that practically we're one soul. We're so close, our friendship. We're like one soul in two bodies. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Hey Krishna. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi, Govinda Damodara Madhave. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi, Govinda Damodara Madhave. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi, Govinda Damodara. Govinda. Govinda means the one who can nourish us at our deepest level, just like he nourishes the cows. Sometimes a cow will be going towards onion grass. You know what onion grass is? Kind of a stinky grass. And Krishna will say, this way, not the stinky grass, sweet grass, eat the sweet grass, right? We feel in life, sometimes a door closes and we think, but I want to go that way. And Krishna says, this way. Govinda. Then we say Damodara. Damodara means he who is bound with the ropes of love. They say that yogis, they may even spend an entire lifetime. Like this one friend of ours, very sweet and funny gentleman who I've become friends with at the ashram, Priya Sharan Brahmachari. Before COVID, he had spent 40 years in a cave in this area. They try and capture, many of these yogis, they spend their life trying to capture the Lord in the heart so that in their meditation, he stays firmly placed in the heart. But Mother Yashoda, she easily binds him permanently with the ropes of love. He whose belly is bound with the ropes of love, easily. This is Damodara. Madhava, the resting place of all fortune. He who destroys all inauspiciousness, like the demon Madhu and Kaitaba. And he who is sweet, like the sweetest honey. Couple more times. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Again. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Hey Krishna. Hey Krishna. Hey Yadava. Hey Saketi. Govinda Madhaveti. Now to close out our chanting, I want to ask His Grace Bharahari Prabhu to sing a couple of times so we can hear the Shuddha Nam. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Bharahari Prabhu, Hey Krishna. Hey Krishna. Okay, go for it. Do as you'd like. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Thank you. All right. Well, now we've sung too much. There's not enough time to tell the story. Just kidding. Okay. The story of Bilva Mangala is one of my favorite stories. Partly because, there's like movies and then there's films. Now, the way I kind of see the two is like, movies are like, big budget and, Hollywood and like, lots of really fancy, beautiful people. And then films are more like lower budget. Maybe the story doesn't make as much, like maybe it ends in a sad way. It's a little complicated. The characters are a little more real. Sometimes you think, I kind of relate to that guy, I'm not Captain America. Maybe I'm like this guy more, So I tend to like films a little more than movies. The story of Bilva Mangala is a little bit like that. A Hollywood movie goes like this. Right? And the story of Bilva Mangala goes like this. Right, okay. But the great takeaway from this story is how the Lord is endlessly enchanted by the heart song of a devotee. There's a temple in a place called Udupi, ancient temple. When you go inside, everything is sideways because the Lord was listening to the song of a devotee out of the window, and he turned and he wanted to look at the devotee singing. And so the whole temple had to be reorganized because the deity had turned to listen to the song. So now you look at him, instead of from the entranceway, you look at him from the side window. Everything's like crooked in the temple because the Lord loved the song of this devotee. This devotee felt himself so humble that he couldn't go into the temple. He didn't want to go in because he thought, someone like me, if I go in the temple, I'll make the whole temple dirty. So I'll just stay outside. So the Lord turned to look at him through the window. And now the whole temple, for 1,000 years afterwards, is all coming in sideways because of the Lord. Bilva Mangala was born in a high-caste Brahmin family. His father was very respected. He was very educated in all the traditional rituals and study of Shastra and Vedas. Very respected. One day in the marketplace, he saw a beautiful lady. And she was being attended to by a man holding an umbrella, and he was so in love with her. And Bilva Mangala was watching, and when Chintamani turned and caught his eye watching her, it was like she was pouring liquid love into his eyes, into his heart. He had never had that experience before. He couldn't stop thinking of her, even though when he saw her, she was with another man. After a while, he found where she lived, and he would start leaving little tokens, little gifts, little notes. Eventually, he met her, and he found out that she was a prostitute. So he thought about this for a long time, and he thought about what it would mean to love a prostitute. And he thought about how disappointed his family would be in him. But he felt love in his heart. He had never felt this. He felt love in his heart. And he said, I don't care, the world be damned. And he began going to her. This went on to the point where there was an appointed time that every week he would come to her, fixed like the stars in the sky. He would mark his time by his visits to Chintamani. She lived in this walled garden, ivy covering the walls with a small gate. And you would enter into this walled garden. It was like entering into another planet, another universe, where the world was left behind inside the courtyard of the walled, ivy-covered home of Chintamani. He tried to convince her, you can leave all this behind and I will just care for you and love you and take care of you. And she says, no, you don't understand. This is what I do. This is who I am. And he said, no, you don't understand. I love you. And she said, oh, Bilva Mangala, you don't know what love is. And she would tease him like that. You're just a young man. You don't know what love is. Bilva Mangala's father became very sick. But no matter what, fixed day and time, he visited Chintamani. His father grew sicker, and one day his father died. And it just happened that the day where he was doing the last rites for his father, which in India is often cremation, they built a huge pyre on the bank of the river. Now, Chintamani's house was across the river. And as he was doing the last rites for his father, he was looking up the hill towards Chintamani's house. And as he was doing all the last rites of his father, he was thinking, and it happened to be the day that he was meant to visit Chintamani was the day of his father's funeral. So he did everything properly, but his mind was thinking, I hope that I still have time to visit Chintamani because this is my day. And when he felt guilty, he thought, no, but this is love. Love supersedes everything. What is life without love? Even death has no meaning without love. So everything is connected to love. After he finished all of his responsibilities, he came down to the bank of the river, and it started raining. Now, all the boatmen had turned their boats over, because otherwise boats fill with water. So they all turned their boats over, and he's standing there at the edge of this river that's become swollen by the rain, and he's trying to figure out how to cross the river. There's no boatman. So he decides, with the power of love in my heart, I'll swim. So he swims, and about halfway into the river, he realizes that he's probably not going to make it. So he just starts praying, and somehow or other, he bumps up into a log in the midst of this deluge. It's like, and he's like, uses it to kick his way across. And when he gets to this other side, he realizes it was actually the body of a drowned man that he was holding on to that had floated up. He's like, completely like, it's like a horror movie, He's completely out of his mind, and he's covered in water, of course, covered in water, and then mud, because the whole banks are, so his clothes, which he had worn nice clothes to see Chintamani, they're all covered, they're all ripped and torn and covered in mud, and he scurries his way up the hill to Chintamani's walled garden, and the gate is locked. The gate is locked. And he thinks, why is the gate locked? This is the day, this is the time, why is the gate locked? So he starts scrambling up the ivy, up the wall. And he's like slipping, and somehow or other he just grabs out for this branch as he comes down to the other side, and it's a huge cobra that he grabs. And the snake falls past him, and he's just like, screaming, the snake and the rain and the mud, and he like makes his way to the door, and he bangs on the door of Chintamani, and she kind of cracks open the door, just looks out, like, who's here at a time like this? And she's just dressed in her like pajamas, She says, what are you doing here? And he said, why would you ask me a question like that? I love you, that's what I'm doing here. She said, but today your father died. Everyone in town knows that your father died. Why are you here? I love you. I'm here because I love you. And she says to him through that crack in the door, oh, Bilva Mangala, if you love the Lord like you think you love me, you would be a saint. It's described that Bilva Mangala stood there, and that crack in the door felt like 1,000 lifetimes. The crack in the door felt like 1,000 lifetimes. And Chintamani's voice became the voice of his eternal guru, speaking to him through the ages. And it pierced his heart, this voice of his guru, through Chintamani, through the mouth of Chintamani. And he felt the instruction of his spiritual master. And he backed up, and he offered his respects, and he left. He left everything. He left it all. He left. Now you think this is the part where he goes, and then he became a saint, and he sang for Krishna. That's not the story. He left, and he began wandering along the roadsides of India. He was in Kerala, and he made his way north towards Vrindavan, walking. I think you could safely call that a long walk. That was a long walk. He just walked. It became monsoon season. After, this has been going on now. He's just wandering and wandering and singing and wandering and singing and wandering. So one year it became monsoon season. And he was there kind of huddled against the side of a building, covering his little ektar that he would sing with from the rain. And a handsome young couple, they see him, regal young man, a beautiful young lady with long black hair. And they say, Sadhuji, do you have a home? Do you have a place to stay during monsoon season? Please come with us. We'll take care of you. We'll feed you. And when the time is, you can go on your way. He accepts very gratefully. By this point, he had been going on for years like this. And he had developed a reputation. Everyone knew him. His songs were like he was singing from 1,000 years, right? Like it was like that voice of Chintamani was flowing through him. Many of his poems, he would write her name at the top of the poem, as an honor to my Guru Chintamani, and he would sing songs of Krishna. So the man and he would go for work, and the lady was there caring for the house, and he would mind his own business. And it's raining and raining and raining and raining, just like that night Chintamani, it's raining and raining and raining. And at one point, he's walking down the hallway, and he sees a cracked door, much like the cracked door that he saw Chintamani. And he sees this young lady combing her hair, beautiful long black hair. And this feeling of lust again comes in his heart. And he just can't move. He can't move. He's like stuck there, and he's just lustfully watching this man's wife through the door. And his feet are like glued to the floor, and his intelligence is saying, don't do this. Don't look. Why are you here? Just go. But he can't. His senses are like dragging him. And he's through that crack in the door. He's just feeling this. So that evening, he says to the husband, may I have a moment alone with your wife? The husband says, yes, Sadhuji, whatever you need, please. And he calls his wife, and they sit there, and the husband goes away, and he says, Mother, I saw that you have this beautiful hairpin in your hair. Would you consider giving it to me as a gift? So whatever you need, she gives him the hairpin. That night, without them knowing, he takes all his things and he goes out in the rain into the alley. And he pierces his eyes with the hairpin. This material world is so filled of misery and difficulty. And he had already been given a miracle. He already knew that this is not the place of the soul, and that the goal of this life is to use everything given by the Lord, to surrender fully, give it like Vish said so beautifully last night, take the water of the Ganga and offer it back to the Ganga. The Lord has given us this life. We take it and we offer it back, right? It's not ours. And by doing so, it becomes a yagya, a sacrifice, like what we're doing here. We're taking the Lord's names and giving it back to the Lord. The river of names, giving it back to the Lord. Why? We recognize it's not ours. Who does it belong to? Everything. We give it back to the Lord. Everything belongs to the possessor, to the owner. One time, Srila Prabhupada, my guru's guru, Srila Prabhupada, there was a man who came to visit him, and he had chronic headaches. And the man owned a big factory in Mumbai. And Prabhupada told him, just give me your factory and your headaches will go away. The idea is that we think that we're the possessor, owner, and controller of everything, and so many headaches come on us. So Bilva Mangala was in such a desperate place. Not a place that I recommend for any devotee, but this is the story of a saint, okay? He took his own eyesight out of desperation. Why, Krishna, why? I chase everything but you. It's like Sri Chaitanya says in the last verse, in the second verse of Shikshastakam. Durdaivam idrishamiha janinanuraga. I have somehow or other, you have unlimited names. You're giving so much. There's like as many names as there are crests of water in the ocean. In Islam, they say if you took an ocean full of ink and you wrote God's names and all the qualities of God, you would need a second ocean, right? It's a way of expressing the same idea. Unlimited names, unlimited opportunities the Lord is giving us, and still I have no taste. Why don't I have a taste? Why I have a taste for Instagram, right? Sometimes I wake up in the morning like, I should do japa. I should do japa. I should do japa. Oh, it's like this, you know. You find yourself laughing at a donkey. You know, like, oh, Krishna. I am the donkey, Krishna. I am the donkey. He began walking now. He couldn't see. Couldn't see. Singing and walking and singing. So he finally arrived in Vrindavan after a long time, years. And one day he was singing. He would just sing songs and people would give whatever they gave, and he would just eat whatever they gave, or he would take a few paisa and buy whatever he could, and that was how he would live. One day he felt a little hand on his shoulder, little boy. Oh, Sadhuji, are you thirsty? My family, we have cows, and I can bring you fresh, warm milk right from the cow's udder every day if you want. Oh, thank you. That would be very nice. This boy had an incredible fragrance, like a guru musk. This boy's somehow mixed with smell of cow dung, like any good farmer. Yes, yes. The boy is walking away and he has little bells on his body. This is a very interesting boy. So he comes every day and he drinks this milk. The milk is like nectar, like nectar. Then one day, no milk. No milk. What happened? And he gets this overwhelming anxiety for his little friend, the little coward. And he's thinking, I've renounced everything, even my eyesight. Why am I feeling such an attachment to this little boy? Then the boy comes again. And he starts calculating his mind. He's going through all the songs of the descriptions of the Lord and thinking all these things. And he's checking all the boxes and he thinks, this is Krishna. This is Krishna. And he's engaging him. Oh, your family has cow. What is your father's name? I call him Baba. Oh, Baba, Nanda Baba? His name Nanda Baba? You have an older brother, don't you? Like this, like he's like, you know, little by little pulling out the details from Krishna, you know. Finally, he says, I know who you are, you cheater, you thief. You've stolen everything from me, you cheater. You're Krishna. You think because I'm blind, I don't see. But I know who you are. And the little boy says, oh, you're just a silly old man. You don't know anything. Just sing your songs and I'll sing. So let me show you this. Let's see. I have a picture of Bilva Mangala. Singing to Krishna. Very sweet picture. So Bilva Mangala was blind. He was blind. But through his poetry, and it's, you know, the great thing about the internet is you can find the poetry of these saints. If you type in Bilva Mangala, Govinda Damodara Stotram, you'll find this poem. It's so beautiful. Verses and verses and verses. Like little sweet little poems like this. They're like, it's very postmodern actually, this ancient poem. It's almost like dancing. It's not like a story. It's like there's little rivers inside this. It's very, very, very interesting style of poetry. One of the poems is a young cowherd girl. She has milk, cheese, yogurt. She wants to take it to the market. So she goes to the market, but she can't stop thinking about Krishna. And she sets up her shop and she starts yelling, milk, butter, cheese for sale. But she's thinking about Krishna so much that instead out of her mouth comes Govinda Damodara Madhava. Just little things like that. So this song that we sing, that I recorded with my friend Johnavie Harrison. If you are not familiar with her music, I highly recommend. She's a very good friend of ours and very talented devotee. And we did a nice recording together, Like a River, the song, My Heart Flows Like a River to the Sea. This is this idea that I see with these eyes, right? There's a poem that I quoted the other day by Rumi. It says, you know, see with the eyes of the heart, listen with the ears of the heart. Because why? These ears on the head, they just have an addiction for lies and cynical jokes. Right? But these ears, they want to hear the leelas of the Lord, the stories of the Lord. Nourish. So when we're in holy places like this, yes, you know, there's this problem, that problem, some honking and some traffic and some whatever, this and that and this. But let's see through the eyes of the heart. Let's hear through the ears of the heart so that we can receive this holy place. When we're with a holy person, let's try to hear and see in that way. I once asked my teacher, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, why do the saints have to go through so many difficulties? I also want to love Krishna, but if I have to take my eyes out with a hairpin, forget it. It's not going to happen. Right? I am not going to fall off a cliff like Prahlad. Not going to happen. How can I want to love the Lord, but I'm not strong enough to be like a saint. And he gave a very beautiful answer. He said, no, you know, you have to understand that the Lord puts really saintly people in this situation as a glorification of their love. It's not that you have to go through this. Prahlad, Haridas, you know, Bilva Mangala, actually, it's an expression of their love that there's no obstacle that they will not overcome in their love for Krishna. But for us, Radhanath Swami told me, for you, Gauravani, you should know that Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan have handcrafted a perfect journey that is just custom made for you. It's not for someone else. You don't have to live someone else's journey. You know, the offbeat English comic Oscar Wilde said, be yourself. Because everyone else is already taken. So be yourself. So, Sachinandana Swami, another one of our beloved friends and teachers, he says, in this entire universe, there's a place that's just for you, that only you can fill. So, in that relationship with the Lord, we find our place. It may be the servant of 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 Sri Radha, but we have our spot. And when we find our spot, we're filled with unlimited joy and meaning and belonging. So, please carry Bilva Mangala in your heart and this song, Govinda Damodara Stotram. Thank you so much for your company over this last month. And and for your mentorship, Padahari Prabhu, and for your kirtans. And thank you to my little brothers for your loving playing. It's been very moving to hear your devotion expressed through your music. As Madhava says, I always feel funny because we do this big show, drumming and violin, and then Madhava comes on the kirtan stage after us and he says, kirtan is not a performance. But he's right, it's not. It's an offering, to hear Hiren practices hours every day. And then he takes it and he offers it to Govinda. That's not a performance, that's an offering. So thank you. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Bye. See you later. Yeah, please come back, 4:45. The party continues. My family just arrived, so I hope some of you can meet my wife and 2 kids that are here in town. They're here, yeah. I'm going to try and get them to bathe in the Ganga before this evening. Have a good day. Hare Krishna. Shikunda, you should have played your Zina. It's our loss. Perfect.